We believe in trial by jury. The jury is often called the conscience of the community. It's something that we're not the first to discover it or invent it, and a lot of commentators over the years have said some pretty interesting things about jury trial. Here's what a author named G.K. Chesterton wrote early in the 20th century. Whenever our civilization wants a library to be cataloged or a solar system to be discovered or any other trifle of this kind, it uses its specialists. But when it wishes anything done which is really serious, it collects 12 ordinary men standing around. Jesus did exactly this. And here's another one, a fellow named Alexis de Tocqueville. He was a young Frenchman in his mid-20s who came over here in the 1830s to study America, particularly the prison system. He wound up writing a classic book, a huge book called Democracy in America that still says a lot today, almost 200 years later, about what is unique about America. And what he wrote about jury trial, especially jury trial in civil cases, I thought was really right on the money. Here's what he said. The institution of the jury raises the people itself to the bench of judicial authority. The institution of the jury consequently invests the people, or that class of citizens, with the direction of society. He also had another quote that I just paraphrased, which is that voting in the jury room on the verdict of a case is just as important an exercise of democracy by the individual citizen as is voting in a polling booth when you go to vote for elected officials. And it's a funny thing because actually it's the one thing in society other than the draft in wartime and paying taxes that our society can actually demand that you do. You get a summons and you've got to show up for jury duty, and a lot of people don't like that. But it's an important part of democracy. Here's another quote from Tocqueville that I thought spelled it out pretty well. The jury contributes most powerfully to form the judgment and to increase the natural intelligence of a people, and this is, in my opinion, its greatest advantage. It may be regarded as a public school, always open, in which every juror learns to exercise his or her rights and enters into daily communication with the most learned and enlightened members of the society and becomes practically acquainted with the laws of his country, which are brought within the reach of his capacity by the efforts of the bar, the lawyers, and the advice of the judge, and even by the advocacy of the parties. So he's talking about civil juries, and we see this every day in our cases, where we bring expert witnesses into court, people in fields as diverse as engineering of cars or medicine and really esoteric stuff like, let's say, hematology or pathology or surgery, and those people educate the jury in some particular aspect of their field, and it's just a wonderful public school. So I think jury trial has got a lot of advantages, not just for the participants, because people who are on both sides of a lawsuit, it gives them somebody totally neutral, totally uninfluenced by the political whims of the day, who weren't appointed by some governor or who didn't run for office themselves. It gives them the right to an independent group of people outside the purview of the government to issue a ruling on their case, a verdict. A verdict is an interesting word. It means literally, ver means truth, dict means to speak, so it's a speaking of the truth.